Hello everyone, my name is Mandi Lynn. I'm an author, book cover designer, and the creator of the Book Launch Planner. Now today is a special video because it is the illustration vlog for my children's book, Mr. Moon's Big Move. Now Mr. Moon's Big Move comes out today, so thank you so much for everyone who has pre-ordered. I do want to apologize because anyone who pre-ordered through my website, Ingram Spark hasn't sent me the copies of my book yet, therefore I can't ship you the book. But yeah, so if you do want a signed edition, you can purchase it through my website. Just know it's going to take a little bit. Or if you just want to get the book in general, you can now purchase it through Amazon. If you purchase it within the first week of release, there is a form that you can fill out down below. When you fill out the form, you will get some cool swag mailed to you that includes like a bookmark, it includes a sticker, it includes a 4x6 print from the book. You only have to fill out the form if you purchase it through Amazon. If you purchase it through my website, not only will the book be signed, but it will include all those cute little items in the order with the book. So you don't have to worry about filling out the form. Only fill out the form if you buy it within the first week through Amazon or through some other online retailer that's not myself. If you want to buy the book, now is the time because you do get those cute little items and they are sent to you for free as my thank you for ordering the book within the first week. This whole book has been a fiasco in terms of the publishing with Ingram Spark. Everything that could go wrong basically went wrong. Some of it was my fault, some of it wasn't my fault. So yeah, I'm about to jump into the vlog, but just know it took place over the course of a couple months, so things might be all over the place a little bit, but this just really shows how the book was illustrated and what type of work went into it. So right now the status of my children's book is almost all the illustrations have been created. Some of the illustrations are good, some of them are not so good and need to be fixed. So as a little FYI, I don't have kids. No one in my family at this time has little kids. I've only babysat once in my life. My experience with small children is limited. The most my experience is when I'm doing book signings and a little kid comes up and for whatever reason always feels inclined to pick up She's Not Here and wants to know more about it, and that is about the most adult book I write. They couldn't pick up the young adult book, they picked up the adult book. But my dream is to someday be at a book signing and be like, oh no, that book's not for you, this one is. So this right here is my storyboard. Yes, as you can see, it's very fancy. All it is index cards stapled to a photo to accompany that page. If you guys haven't watched my previous videos where I talk about how I create my children's book, I'm basically basing all the illustrations off of actual photos. So I have a bunch of photos of Moon when he was a kitten, and I'm going to recreate them as illustrations. I do that by doing some digital drawing, which you'll probably see later today. I have a drawing pad that connects to my laptop. But before we do that, I want to go through my outline again, make sure that I have all the illustrations I need, and if I'm missing any illustrations, go ahead and create them. And then from there, I want to tweak the illustrations to perfect them and then start creating the backgrounds for the illustrations. Because right now, for the most part, I've only really created like the subject, which is Moon. So in this photo you can see it's Moon and he's sitting in a basket. So I did draw the basket, but we still need some background to make it more visual and more engaging for the kids. So first things first, I'm gonna lay out my storyboard once again and kind of sift through things, maybe change things, because now I have new information. So I might change some stuff to make the book a little bit more engaging and fun. So I went over all my doodles, I kind of re-outlined, made notes to myself where I wanted to change some stuff and add some extra stuff in to make it more kid-friendly and fun. And now I I'm in my laptop. This is my drawing pad. I will leave a link to it on Amazon if you want to get this drawing pad. I think it was like $60. So it's got these buttons and you can program to be whatever command you want to use. I use Adobe Photoshop to do my digital drawing and use the Huion, I'm not sure if that's how you say it, drawing pad. And then over here is the drawing pencil, which also has another 2 buttons. I use the bottom one to erase and the top one to like adjust my tip, I guess it would be. Whatever my paintbrush is, that's what that button is. And then I can't remember if it came with the glove. I don't believe it came with the glove, but I bought a glove extra. You'll see traditional artists use this as well for when they're drawing, so like ink doesn't get on their palm, but I use it also for this because sometimes my skin will throw off the sensors and I'll be drawing and then all of a sudden I am on some different part of the screen. So this isn't plugged in now, mostly because I want to keep this plugged into my battery while I'm just talking to you guys. So basically the way it works is that I would draw on here and I would draw here while looking up here, and that's something that you have to get used to. If you're already a digital artist, you're like, dear God, why is she saying all this? And I'm only saying all this because I'm new to being a digital artist, and that was something that was very strange to me, so I figured I'd point that out, that when you're drawing, you are going to be not even looking at this because there's obviously no screen on it, but it translates pretty well up there. You just kind of get used to it after a while. I barely notice it anymore, so if this is something you're willing to try out, go for it. Like I said, it's not like a huge investment. They do have drawing pads where it's basically a miniature computer where you draw directly on the screen, but I wasn't even sure if I would be into this, so I was like, let's go for this drawing pad and see how it works out. And I was recommended to this by another YouTuber. I'll link his channel below. His name is Jazza. I forget what his channel name is, but I love all his YouTube videos, and he kind of recommended this for the best drawing pad for beginners who also don't want to make like a big investment. So right now I'm going to go into Photoshop and I'm going to tweak the drawing because I did all these drawings and I didn't quite know what my style was. Initially, I had created this drawing and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was adorable and perfect and right on the nose, and I even asked my patrons, I gave them a choice between this drawing and another more cartoony style drawing, and they said that they liked this drawing the most, so that made me happy because that's kind of what I was gravitating towards. So the idea is to make all the illustrations using this style of drawing. Unfortunately, it took me a little bit to develop my style because I am still very new to digital drawing, and I'm sure years from now, if I continue digital drawing and I look back at this children's book, I'll be like, ooh, that's a little rough. But this is a passion project for me, so I'm just running with it. So the biggest difference here is that in the old drawing, I tried, I think, a little too much to go into the details of his face. I think what makes the first drawing cute is that it makes him look extra fluffy just because his head is big, his eyes and nose are small, whereas here it's a little bit more realistic. And I also put in the details of the M on his head because he is a Maine Coon, so I included that. But then I looked back at the first drawing and saw it wasn't there. So I was like, I think I'm just going to take my artistic interpretation and make this a little more basic looking and make him just look fluffy and cute. And also the biggest thing that's going on here, I think, is that his nose and mouth don't look good at all. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to tweak his nose and mouth. And I am also going to tweak the colors of his ears because in the first drawing his ears are more of like a light brown on the inside, whereas all my other drawings, they're a light pink. So I want to make it a light brown. I feel like that looks more realistic and it doesn't pop as much and look distracting. So I'm going to jump into it and I'll even take you guys along for a little speed drawing as I do so. So I've accomplished a few things since I last spoke to you guys. Right now, what I spent the morning doing is, so far, just to let you know, all I've done is I've created the main illustrations, which is of course the kittens. And that I knew was going to be the hardest part for me because I'm not an illustrator. So they aren't quite as professional as I'd want them to be, but again, this is like a passion project for me. So either way, I'm really super happy with the results, and I haven't started sketching the backgrounds yet because I wanted to actually go ahead and write the story. I had up until this point actually gone and created like a quick storyboard, which is just these right here, where I kind of write out what would happen scene by scene. I take the photo that I was using as a reference and attach a index card that kind of just said what scene it was and what was going on in that scene, as well as just adding a number to the top of the corner so I knew which order they were going in. Ideally, I probably would have put these all out on a cork board so I could see it and be more visual about it, but I just didn't have the space to do that. So instead, they're all just loose and all over the place. So now the main illustrations are done. I spent all this morning in Word and writing up the actual story, and that may sound crazy, but that's just how I personally worked best. So I wrote it out word for word, and even like put in where I want to have acknowledgments and about the author and blah blah blah. So now that I have that, I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to take out a notebook and do page spread sketches. I personally know that I want my children's book to be mostly page spreads because I have kind of a limited number of cat illustrations because I'm not as freakishly talented as I wish I was. I'm probably going to have one cat every other page, which may not sound like a lot, but in reality that just means that normally what would be 2 pages, now only one page will have a kitten and the other page will just have like other doodles to make it visually interesting. And I'm also going to figure out where I want text to go in all of that as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and take out my notebook now, sketch things out really quickly, and we'll walk you guys through the process. I feel so productive. Okay, so I did the whole spread, and I did the spread of the entire book, including stuff like the title page and the copyright page. And apparently I accidentally skipped 4 of the pages, but it actually went really good. The sketches are awful. Like, they are awful. I wrote notes to myself so I know what's what, but they aren't supposed to look pretty. They're just supposed to communicate what I need my brain to know. And I have a total of 24 pages, which is actually exactly what my goal was. When I set up the pre-order, I had to upload some sort of interior file and decide on a page count. Granted, I could change that later on, so I kind of had made like a rough estimate, and I was like, I think it's going to be 24 pages. Turns out exactly 24 pages. So that's awesome. So I now have the book written. I have the like page spreads outlined, and the next step would be to actually start putting it all together and start drawing the backgrounds for everything. And I'm not going to do that today just because I have other things to do today. But next time you hear from me, hopefully that's the thing that I'm working on. forgot to keep vlogging and do screen recordings while I was illustrating, but really not a whole lot happened. Basically, what I did after creating all the initial page spreads is that I took them to my mother-in-law, who is an artist, and she taught me a lot about shadowing. So she kind of showed me where to add in shadows to give everything more depth and to give it a little bit more of a 3D feeling and give, you know, shape. So basically that's all I did at this point, is that I was adding in shadowing, and from there it was just plopping the illustrations into InDesign, which is what I use to format my books, and then uploading those files to Ingram Spark and KDP to get them printed. And now we have a finished product. Well, I shouldn't say we have a finished product. I have an unfinished product. Like, I haven't even held my final book yet because shipping and a virus that shall not be named. So all I have to show for right now is a crappy version of the book that was printed through Lulu. But if you want to see my review of the crappy version that was printed through Lulu, you can visit the info cards up above, or I suppose it will be linked down below. If you want to know more about my process for publishing the book, including the writing and even more speed drawings, including the speed drawing of the cover, there is a whole playlist, which again will be linked down below. Now, if you do decide to order this book, thank you so much. This was just a fun project for me to test out my illustration skills and to now have a children's book when I do book signings. So when kids come to my table and grab She's Not Here, I can hand them Mr. Moon and be like, no, this is for you, child. I also want to give a shout out to my patron of the week, Nicolette Reed. She writes fantasy, romance, and urban fantasy, so if you want to learn more about her books or her as an author, you can visit her website. It will be linked down below. If you want to be a featured patron of the week, be sure to join me over on Patreon, where you can unlock cool and exclusive content, or you can join me over on my newsletter, where you have access to webinars and PDF downloads. Thank you all for watching so much. Like I said, if you want to learn more about the children's book publishing and writing process, be sure to check out the playlist that is linked over there. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week.